Dear students, today we start discussing a new chapter, that is index number. What is this index number? So before starting to index number, I would like to discuss something. Prices of commodities, if we take, they are go on changing from time to time, or year to year, or location to location. For example, if you take prices of sweets compared to last year, this year there are certain changes. If the price in 2018 is 200 rupees, so price in 2020 is rupees 300 rupees. Price in 2018 200 and price in 2020 300. Now here we want to find the changes, what changes has been taken place in the price. So we compare with for year 2020 with the year 2018, or maybe earlier year than that, when changes occurs. So we compare the changes. So in the year 2020 price is 300 and 2018 price was 200. That means in the span of 2 years, here price level has increased by 200 rupees. So 100 rupees. So here price level increased by 100 rupees in the year 2020. If the same thing, if we want to tell it by percentage, then we say here price level increased by 150%. 150%. So it was 200, now it has been 300. So 50% hike. Price level increased by 50%. Yeah. So this is what we study here as an index number. So the table which provides us, or which helps us to compare not only price, other aspects also, changes in certain phenomena, commodities produced or purchased or consumed, or even value, that is total expenditure made by the people, and even income level, expenditure pattern, and prices. So from time to time and location to location. So the definition of index number is, index numbers are statistical devices designed to measure the relative changes in the level of phenomena. Relative changes, what we study here. So index number studies relative changes in the level of phenomena. In the level of phenomena. So not ordinary here, major changes. Major changes it studies here. So what has changes has been taken place. So I continue. Level of phenomenon with respect to time. With respect to time, geographical location, and other characteristics like income, expenditure, profession, etc. So here the changes in the level of income of the person in particular location from time to time, or their expenditure pattern, their profession, or even in the level of geographical location or time, we can compare here. So here the year which is selected for comparison, the year selected for comparison, that is 2018 here. This is called as base year. 2018 is called as what? Base year, and the year for which comparison is required, is needed, that is 2020 here. This is called as current year. The selected year for comparison is base year, and the year for which comparison required is current year. So current year is always a recent year, usually in our practice here, because we compare for the recent year comparing to some older year here. Okay, even we can compare current prices to some other old years also. Then the base year is recent year and the current year is older year. But in practice here we compare the changes for recent year comparing with to some older years. And next year, if we find the changes for just one single item or one commodity or price of one commodity or even expenditure for one commodity, then just we refer it as relative changes. Relative. Okay. So if you are comparing the prices for one year to another year for just one single commodity, for example, if I take Dharwad Peda, so what is the price at present and what was the price 2 years back? Just Peda if you take and compare the prices, then it is referred as what? Price relative. If you refer the quantity produced or quantity consumed or quantity sold in the market, so compare it to some other previous year, then that is referred as or called as quantity relative. And if the same thing for the same product, if you refer or check the changes in the value, total value in the market, that is the total expenditure made on that or total amount spent for that commodity, how much commodity is sold out or manufactured, that is worth, if you compare, that is called as value index number, or sorry, value relative. That is called as what? Value relative. Just one single item. Okay. So here remember, that means here three terms comes. That is price, quantity, and value. So price of a commodity and how much quantity are purchased or produced at that price. So if you take purchasing of the commodity, so for example, Peda is 300 rupees per kg at present. How many kgs are demanded by the people? So price is 300 rupees and person want to purchase 5 kg. So 5 kg is the quantity at price 300. So we can compare only price. For example, if we take changes, here 2020 price is 300, 2018 price was 200. So in the year 2020 people are buying 5 kg and in the year 2018 people are buying 10 kg. So earlier people purchasing 10 kg at 200 rupees and now they are purchasing 5 kg at 300 rupees. So total value or total consumption or total expenditure on that product at this price to purchase this much quantity, so it is 300 into 5, 1500. So total expenditure for the current year for that particular commodity is 1500 rupees. The value is 1500 rupees. And here 2018, 200 rupees, 10 kg. So here expenditure is 2000. So here we can compare the changes. So here price has increased comparing to 2018. In 2020 price has increased by 50%. And when it comes to the quantity, comparing to 2018, in 2020 quantity consumption is reduced or sale is reduced. Value is also also reduced here. Value is also reduced. So increase, price has increased, quantity decreased, expenditure decreased. So just one commodity for one particular year we are comparing. It may be price, it may be quantity, or it may be value. It is referred as what? Price relative or quantity relative or value relative, which we are referring. So let us come to the definition here. The single variable is considered. When a single variable is considered, the index number is called relative. So in this particular case, here I have taken all three. So if I refer price relative, quantity relative, and if I refer value relative. So let us discuss first price relative. So here price relative. So price relative, definition of price relative is the price in the current year expressed as the percentage of the price in the base year. So here both the time we are referring the prices. So base year price, current year price. If you denote both by P, it is difficult to understand where which price should be taken. Okay. So to make it easy, current year, it may be price or whatever. Current year we denote it by 1, number 1. And base year we denote it by 0, number 0. Current year 1, base year 0. So current year price, if you denote price by P, then current year price P1 and base year price P0. So price relative we indicate it or denote it by capital P. Capital P is equal to current year price divided by base year price into 100. Remember one thing, here index numbers are just ratios. For comparison purpose, we express them in percentages. So to express them in percentages, we multiply it by 100 here. So price relative is equal to current year price divided by base year price. Symbolically, if you write, P is equal to P1 divided by P0 into 100. So small p is used to denote prices, small q for denoting quantities, and small v for denoting value. So price relative, here remember price relative, change in the price, that is price relative is the price in the current year expressed as percentage of the price in the base year, expressed as the percentage of price in the base year, so into 100. So price relative, P is equal to P1 divided by P0 into 100. Remember, one quantity, one item, only for one variable we are studying, that is price relative. And when it comes to the quantity, so that is the ratio of quantity of commodities in the current year expressed as percentage of the quantity in the base year. So current year quantities expressed as percentage change in the quantity in the base year. So here quantity relative is denoted by Q here. So Q is equal to current year quantity divided by base year quantity into 100. So which means write in simple, Q1 divided by Q0 into 100. So Q indicates quantity 1, current year quantity 0, base year quantity. And likewise value relative, value in the current year expressed as percentage, expressed in percentage for the base year, that is value relative is the ratio of value of commodity in the current year expressed as the percentage of the value in the base year, and it is given by capital V here. V is equal to current year value divided by base year value into 100. So that is V1 divided by V0 into 100. Base year price relative current year price divided by current base year price into 100. Quantity relative current year quantity divided by base year quantity into 100. And value relative current year value divided by base year value into 100. And what is value here? Value is nothing but price into quantity. Price into quantity is the value. So price is 300, quantity is 5 kg. So 300 into 5, 1500 is the value. So if you take these two here, that is 2000 divided by 1500 into current year price value is 1500 divided by 2000 into 100. So here 1500 divided by 20. So here 75%. 75% means here it indicates value decreased by 25%. So if the index number is exactly 100, no changes. If it has crossed 100, then whatever is the above 100 figure, whatever may be the figure above 100, that is increased by that much percent. And if we get a ratio here less than 100, then the whatever is the difference for that between the value here and 100, that is decreased by that much percentage here. So 75% means 100 minus 75 is 25. So value decreased by 25%. And for the same example, if we refer here, quantity relative. So that is 5 kg in the current year divided by 10 kg in the base year into 100, that is equal to 50. So price level decreased by 50% here. Quantity consumption quantity decreased by 50%. And price relative, if you check for this example, so current year price is 300, base year price was 200 into 100. So this is 150. So 150 means price level increased by 50%. Price level increased by 50%. And quantity decreased by 50%, and here value decreased by 25%. So such question may be asked in the exam. If the price relative is 125, so what do you comment? So comment is price level increased by 25%. If the price index or price relative is 90, what is your conclusion? So here 90 means 100 minus 90 is 10. So price level decreased by 10% here. So this is how we write comment on by seeing or referring the answers or value given by the formula here. And next comes what we studied here till now is just a single commodity. But single commodity we don't study. In our day-to-day life, if we refer, we don't use just one single variable or item. For food, if you take example, we don't eat just rice. Along with rice, we need milk or curd or sambar, chutney, vagara. So just we don't eat one item. That means we don't just consume one item in our life. So if you study only one item, we cannot say that what changes is taken place in our life with compared to price or quantity or maybe even value. So when we study more than one item, for example, to lead a life we need rice, jawar, wheat, sugar, jaggery, etc. etc. If you study all of them together, then it is called as what? Index number. So index number is not just a study of one single commodity or a variable here. It's a study of aggregate of various items which are required for our study. And here index number, So here it doesn't fixed for just food items. It is study for anything you can say. So here even our day-to-day life activities we can divide them. Food items, education and various other things. So education we need textbooks, notebooks, compass box, college fees, hostel fees, mess fees, various items. So all together we can put them in one education. To lead life, we need a house, we need other various facilities like water, electricity, etc. etc. So all of them we can put in one basket, that is housing, food, all food items, vegetables, oil and pulses, jawar, wheat, rice, etc. in one basket, and other entertainment expenses in one basket. So we can put them in a different basket. We can study them individually or we can study them together. So which we study here now. Before that, even index number can be used in business. Even if you, I think you have heard that BSE and NSE, that is Bombay Stock Exchange and National Stock Exchange. These two are the leading stock exchanges in India and they have their own indexes. So Sensex is the index of Bombay Stock Exchange and NSE has Nifty, that is NSE 50. So NSE Nifty has including 50 major companies in its index to study the industry and share market, and Sensex includes 30 major companies in India. So altogether there are 30 companies prices, the changes in the prices of 30 companies in every day. So it studies what is the index number, so whether it is showing increasing or decreasing. So that is also one of the best example for studying index number here, and also it is used by government. Government also uses to compare the price level. Okay, so whether economy is in inflation or deflation. Okay, and here certain characteristics of index number I read. Index numbers are specialized types of averages. So index numbers are here special type of averages. So what averages were calculated earlier, they are different. And here these are totally different. Here we find averages and we find then ratios for those averages also. Or maybe for averages, ratios we calculate averages. So which we study in our next classes here. So index numbers are what here? Special type of averages. And second, index numbers are expressed in ratios, but for the comparison purpose they are expressed in percentages. So actually index numbers are just ratios. So here if you leave this 100 here, so current year quantity divided by base year quantity, and here current year price divided by base year price. So index number is just a ratio, but for the comparison purpose we put that in percentages. So we express the index numbers in percentages here. Then index numbers study the effect of factors that cannot be measured directly. So here certain changes, certain cause and effect relation which we cannot study directly, those all things can be studied here. So one can say that price has increased. So what effect it has given to the society in the economy, that cannot be studied directly just by taking prices. So that can be done here. So what changes has been taken? So if you take example here, price level increased. So how it has affected the quantity? So quantity has decreased and even value of expenditure has reduced here. So such things we can study here which cannot be studied directly. So is it due to what? Is it due to price level, or is it due to income level, or is it due to some other aspects that can be studied here? And next, index numbers facilitate the comparison. So no doubt here index number helps for comparison purpose here. So for comparing to last year, what is the changes here? So for two different year we compare, we use index number to compare. So what changes has been taken place, and even we can compare with more than 2 years also here. Comparing to 1990 in 2020, what is the changes? 2000 to 2020, what is the changes? And 2010 to 2020, what is the changes? So for various year we can compare using index numbers here. And now uses of index numbers, where all index numbers can be used. So here index numbers are simplified the data, thus facilitates comparison study. So here it can be used for simplifying and studying the data here. And index numbers are used in studying trends and tendencies. Trends and tendencies. So what is the trend? So whether is it an increasing trend or decreasing trend? So what trend is there in the economy due to changes in prices or quantities or whatever? And then index numbers helps in measuring purchasing power of money and also used for deflation. So it used to study the purchasing power of money. So purchasing power of money, here is the best example. Last year it was 200, now it is 300. So if I have only 200, so how much quantity I can buy now? Whether I can buy less or buy more. So that is the purchasing power of that money here. So last year it was 1 kilo, now it is reduced to 750 grams. Okay. Then index numbers measure changes in the cost of living of different groups of people. So even index number can be used to check the consumption pattern or expenditure pattern or even cost of living. The cost, how much incur to lead a life in a different level, that is upper class people, middle class people and lower class people, even below poverty line people, or people living in slum, people living in urban areas and rural areas, and people living in extension areas, rich people or whatever. So for different class of people we can compare here cost of living and various things. And last, index numbers are used by government to frame suitable policies regarding fixation of bank rates, allowance to government employees, license to new firms, imports, export, taxation, etc. So for these all things, to frame new policies and to fix the interest rate, so and even TADA for employees, and to fix the tax rate. So index numbers are used here even to give permission to the new firm. So whenever price increase in the price level, so if you allow new firms to start manufacturing, so production will increase automatically. When production increases, automatically price will come down. And when there is an inflation, by increasing the interest rate in the bank, government try to reduce the inflation. And when there is a deflation, bank reduces the rate. So here index numbers are used for various things here, to change in the interest rate also and to change the taxation rate also. So in these all fields index numbers are used. Now next comes limitations or demerits of index numbers. So here if you study index numbers in detail, here we are collecting the prices or collecting the quantities. So here prices are depending on the location, depending on the demand and depending on the situation also here. From location to location price may change. So if you purchase the product in Hubli and the same product if you purchase in Dharwad, price level is different. And if the same product is purchased in some rural areas, again price is different. So even quantity may differ. If I purchase the same quantity or even quality, so various things here which make index number not to trust. So what are those points? Here first, since index numbers are based on sample data, they are only approximate indicators. So here index numbers are calculated based on the sample data. Here we don't go to each and every home or each and every shop. We don't ask every person in the market what is the price, what is the quantity sold. No, we just ask to few people, because in Hubli, if you take example, in thousands are merchants here, and all people, we cannot go and collect the prices, and even all persons will not give prices and their quantity sold also. So here, just based on sample data, we prepare index number which is not accurate. Which is not accurate here. And second, there is likelihood error being introduced at each stage of the construction of index numbers. So likelihood error in each stages. That is, while collecting the prices also we may make a mistake if you ask wrong person. So if you are preparing here wholesale index number, so we should get prices from the person who deal in wholesales. So who sell in wholesale only, not in retail. If you meet a person who also deal in retail and wholesale, he may give wrong information here. So in every stage, maybe wrong person or maybe wrong price given by the person. So whatever may be here, so in every stage there may be a chances of making a mistake or errors. And while considering the index number, the quality of product is not taken into consideration. If I take an example of rice, so rice here, quality is not mentioned anywhere. Even if I take example of this Dharwad Peda here, so whatever Peda is manufactured in Dharwad, everybody believes that okay, Dharwad Peda. But Dharwad Peda, when it comes to Dharwad Peda, it is made by Thakur. So nobody bother about. Only Thakur has one shop and only one price. But in Dharwad, many shops are there which produces Peda, and their price differs here. So first time, last year we collected the price from Thakur Peda, and next year we collected price from some other shops in the Dharwad. Then price may differ here, quality differs. So last year it was 200 in Thakur Peda, and current year it was 300 in Thakur Peda. Suppose instead of meeting to Thakur, if you meet some other shops in the Dharwad, then he may say 200 in current year also. Then we can say here no changes. So because quality differs here, so that quality is not mentioned anywhere. So what quality product inquired during the base year and what quality product inquired during the current year. So quality is not checked here. And like other statistical techniques, index number can be misused to get desired conclusions. So here index number, by skipping or by adding some information, here we can get desired results. So that is also one of the limitation. And as the customs, traditions and habits of people vary from time to time, it is difficult to assign proper weights to the various items. So customs and tradition, they changes from time to time. So if you take example of dressing, so every few years, after few years, the style of wearing dress changes here, or new design comes in the market, so people rush for them. So here for which item when they are giving importance, that cannot be measured here. So proper weightage cannot be given here. Okay, and many formula are used in construction of index number, and the different formula gives different answers. So here we use too many formulas. So here just I have given here price relative, where we are studying only one item, one price. So we are not taking too many items here. When it comes to taking too many items, that is if you refer only food, rice, jawar, wheat, pulses, oil, etc. So these all including here, if you calculate the index number, various persons give their own formula to calculate index numbers. So there, each formula gives different answers. So which one to trust here, which one to be considered, that has not given by anybody here. So too many formulas give too many answers. So here also that is a limitations of index number. Next comes types of index number. So types of index number, as I said here, price relative, quantity relative, and value relative. So in the same way, we have three index numbers here. For price index number, and quantity index number, and for value index number. So which we are studying here, that index number, price index, quantity index, and value index number. And here price index number, if you study specially. So price index number can be further divided into two, that is wholesale price index number and retail price index number. So price index number, wholesale prices are different and retail prices are different. Compared to wholesale, retail prices are more. So we can study them individually. For wholesale market, wholesale price index number, and retail market, retail price index number we can study there. Okay, so these are the types of index number: price index number, quantity index number, and value index number, and each of them will be denoted by here price index number. So price index number is denoted by P01. Quantity index number is denoted by Q01, and value index number is denoted by V01. And again say here, price into quantity is equal to value. Okay, and I have not written a formula here because here we get too many formulas given by different persons or different ways or methods here. So that we study in detail in our next class. Now let us discuss how to construct index number or steps in construction of index number here. So index number, like other statistical tools, if you want to use, we have to do some groundwork, that is collection of data and all. So to construct index number also we have to do certain groundworks. That is, first one is defining the purpose of the index number. So that is giving definition to our index number here. Which index number we want to calculate? Why? So from where to collect the data? Why? Where are our sources? What are our sources? If a price index number, whether we have to collect wholesale price or relative retail price, or where to collect them, what are the commodities should be included in that, those are things we have to do here. Then we can go for construction of index number. So first step is defining or stating the purpose of the index number. So for what purpose we are calculating index number here, we are constructing index number. Then second one, selection of base period. So base period, what is base period here? Base period is one which is selected for comparison purpose. So in other words, I say here earlier year. Okay, so steps I will write. So first purpose, second base year, selection of base year. So for which year we are comparing the prices or quantity or value, whatever, that we have to select. And the third step, selection of commodities. Third step, commodities. So for what commodities we are calculating that index number? Is it for rice, or is it for wheat, or is it for some other, or is it for all the items? So those commodities we have to select here, which we want to include. So for example, if you are studying food consumption, food habit, so it differs from location to location. If it comes to North Karnataka here, people of North Karnataka prefer roti. That means their consumption of jawar is more. And when we go little down, so people living in middle Karnataka, Davangere and all, they prefer chapati. And even further if you go down, there people prefer for mudde. and when we go to coastal lands, they prefer for seafood. So here habit changes, their food priority changes. So which location we are selecting, which all items should be included in our index number. So those commodities should be mentioned. And then comes to choice of collection of quotations. Quotations means for the commodities which we have selected here for comparing, for that we have to collect a quotation of prices or quantities or whatever we want. And then comes selection of an average. Choice of average. So average, in first year we studied the 5 averages: mean, median, mode, geometric mean, harmonic mean. So all one we cannot use, and also we learned that in first year that which average is suitable for which purpose. So for our index number calculation here, 2 averages are used, that is arithmetic mean, and second one geometric mean. So arithmetic mean. Okay, so these two are suitable for calculation of index numbers here. So here also we have to choose which average. So here best average for construction of index number is geometric mean. The averages which can be used for construction of index numbers are two. One is arithmetic mean and another one is geometric mean. But best suitable average is geometric mean, because geometric mean is the best average for averaging the ratios and changes or growth rate. So geometric mean is best for averaging the ratios and percentages. So here index number is nothing but ratio. So here we are calculating ratios only, which we are expressing in percentages. So best average is geometric mean. And next comes selection of weights. Selection of weights. So weights are nothing but here priority or importance given to which item. So here importance may differ from location to location or time to time, it may change, or even certain time we use quantities which we consume, that as a weight here. So weights may be anything. So for which thing we have to select as a weight here, that should be mentioned. Whether it is a current year quantity or base year quantity or maybe some other quantity or maybe some other weights, depending on the importance of the product. So when it comes to the food, rice is very important item. Even if you don't eat roti and chapati, so one is required rice. So rice is given importance. So weightage is more weightage is given to the rice item here. So like that here, one can fix the weights which should be assigned to the commodities here. And last comes selection of the suitable formula. So selection of suitable formula. Why is that a selection of suitable formula here? Suitable formula. So what is the suitable formula here? So as I said, index number. When it comes to the relative, we have only 3 relative: price relative, quantity relative and value relative, and only one formula for each. There is no other option. Current year quantity divided by base year quantity, current year price divided by base year price, or current year value divided by current year base year value. But when it comes to the index number, here too many commodities are included, too many things are included here. So here different persons gave their own formula to calculate index number, especially price index number and quantity index number. But when it comes to the value index number, we have only one formula: base year expenditure and current year expenditure, or current year value or base year value. But when it comes to price or quantity, we have too many formulas. So selection of that formula is important. And which formula to be selected? So a question may come in exam for 2 marks, which average, that is geometric mean, and which index number is best. So here which means here no one mentioned that this index number is best, use this index number only. So here selection of index number should be based on the data available. How much data is available? So certain time what happens, we may get prices of both the period current year and base year, but we may not get quantities for both the period here. So one may get quantities of current year, so sometime we may get quantities of base year. So whatever data we have, a formula should utilize the entire of that formula. So if we are not getting current year quantities, so base year current year price and current year base year quantities there, means which formula utilize all three that can be used. If you have only prices, no commodities or no quantities at all, then select a formula which uses both the prices, base year and current year prices, which doesn't need quantities. Or if you have both year prices and current year quantity, then select a formula which utilize current year quantity and both prices. Or if you have all four, base year, current year price as well as quantity, then a formula which utilize all four here. So selection of formula is not fixed to any index number here. So it is depending on the availability of the data. So which formula utilizes all the data available, that formula should be selected. So here we complete our theory part of index number. So today we discussed the definition of index number, characteristics of index number, and limitations of index number. Then we also discussed price relative, quantity relative, and value relative. So relative means here just a study of one single commodity, changes in various phenomena of one single commodity, that may be price, value, or maybe quantity. Then we discussed construction of index number and various types: price index number, quantity index number, and value index number, and also steps in construction of index number. So in our next class we go for selecting calculating the index number. And